everyone, welcome back to Joy's Creative Finger. As most of you already know, if you have already completed the Wedding Bells live event, it won't pop up in your game, but for the majority of you who are new to the game, this event has come live in your games and it's really beautiful. You get wedding dresses, you unlock a wedding plot, and I'm going to show you some of the things that you're going to win in this build, okay? So what I've done in the front of this build is make something that almost looks like a wedding cake. So you can see these open spaces inside the top part of the build that allow me to create a different texture to the exterior wall of this build. So that cake looking lilac wallpaper is from the Gingerbread House collection. Now I have my own idea of mannequins. I usually get my Sims to pop in and help me out as models. So they're like mannequins, but they're alive, so we'll call them models. Now I've just selected 4 out of a number of tuxedos that you will win in this event, but those hats are not part of it. I just have those in my game from the mystery box that we opened up in the front of our homes during the Christmas. Well, the homes in the game. And then I have 4 brides in front here with the updos that you will find as one of many hairdos to unlock in this event. And then the selection of dresses are obviously just for the shop front. There are other collections that will be unlocked, and I'm hoping that you do, but there are other collections to unlock that I'll show you as we get into this boutique. So this is basically the front part of it. It's very modern. I love this build. It's different, and the idea of increasing my options of exterior wallpaper as I've done at the top part is something that I'm experimenting with a lot in the game right now. It's a commercial build, so the top part of this build is simply a roof. You've got a staircase leading up to a room up top that you'll see later, and it's on the Japanese retreat plot, and I love this plot because of the pink trees around. The entrance I'm going to talk a little bit about. I've got a nice walkway into the actual store, and I decided to, instead of using support pillars, use the penthouse room dividers as support pillars to the overhang to the entrance, and I really like it. It completely gave the look of this front store a different touch, a different feel from the other builds that I've done. And as I experiment with different objects in the game, my builds are slowly but surely beginning to progress in the style and in the way that they look. And I like this particular look. In front I've got a couple of private island plants, and then you walk into this beautiful reception that took me forever to put together. So you look at it and you think, oh well, that's quite simple. Put 4 chairs around and put the ottoman in the middle and 4 side tables. But no, I had tried so many different things before I came up with this and decided that less was more. I've got the beautiful wedding chandelier on top right above it, and so when you walk in, it's quite nice to just be greeted with this beautiful central seating area and sit under this beautiful light. And so as you can imagine, in most stores when you walk in, some of the things already on display are there for you to make a pick of. So you might decide, oh, this chandelier that I'm sitting under or I'm standing under, I'm going to want that above my high table or something. So they display these things in these stores for that particular reason. This is the reception for the boutique. And I have some special mannequins in place here. I've got just 2. I've got one in the corner over here, and you have to imagine that these particular dresses are super expensive. Perhaps this gown is by Louis Vuitton, and then perhaps the other one on the corner here is by Van Cartier or something like that. And then of course you work your way down in prices. The beautiful ladies up front at the managerial desk are business partners. They've worked together in this boutique for years, and they are the connoisseurs of fine gowns. Over in the corner here, I'd have to imagine that these are bridesmaid gowns because they're quite colorful, right? You don't have wardrobes that have just white gowns or soft colors. Now this is the front part of the store, so from within this is how you see the front part, and it's quite nice to see the outside in that way. But once you come over to this part of the store, you walk into the wedding planning management department. On display in this department would be the different types of silverware, the place settings, flower arrangements, the crystals for wine glasses, and a polystyrene cake in the middle there for you to look at. And then perhaps there would be a catalog for you to look through and then come up with some ideas. And then someone in the department would make the decision with you as to what you might want to come up with, and they would plan the most amazing wedding ceremony that you've ever had, of course, because it's your one and only day ever. At least I hope so. So you'd sit down here, and it's like a consulting section, and you'd have a good time where they'll go through all the details with you. And of course, most importantly, take away all your money. while you're excited, okay? So on display I have pink, but you would unlock different colors as you go along in the event. Now over here I have the dressing room, which is a very important part of a wedding boutique because a lot of brides come in here and take their time to make a decision on what dress to wear for their special day. You don't hurry in and hurry out. People have trying on wedding dress parties with their bridesmaids. They come in here with their moms, their aunts, they sit down, they drink wine, and they continue to try on different dresses. You have a personal shopper that comes in with you and makes the decision with you. So it's a special place. It's supposed to be glamorous. So these are some of the dresses that you're going to get in the game, and I'm hoping that you complete and get these dresses so that you can give your Sims fabulous weddings. We're not forgetting the men, but do remember, as I said, those hats do not come from the event at all. We had these boxes that you opened up in front of different Sims homes randomly during the Christmas period, and when you opened up you unlocked some random rare item, and I got some of these hats and I thought it was fantastic. So do remember as well that when you go into some stores, some things on display are purely for display. It doesn't mean that you can actually get a hold of it. So you have to imagine that these hats would be those things, okay? And by the way, they work quite nicely on the tuxedos. I think the outfits are absolutely beautiful, and these ones, particularly that the girl is wearing, are bridesmaid gowns. These ones, I would think anyway. Now, the hairdos, they're beautiful. There are no veils in this event, and there are no tiaras. However, you can see that some of the hairdos have some kind of ornament fixed into them. And that's okay, but I think that the veil is a very important part of a gown. Certainly if you don't have it over your face, you can have it going down your back and connecting with your dress in a whoosh manner. Now, the veil, in my opinion, is quite beautiful. It makes you look like a present that's about to be unwrapped. You know, it falls across your face. You could barely see the face of the bride-to-be, and when she's opened up, there's this beautiful face that just emerges. So the men, of course, have a good selection of haircuts. The men have about 4 or 5 hairstyles in total, and then it's splashed with different colors. You've got lilac, brunettes, browns, gingers, reds. Did I say that before? Pink. I mean, the colors that you could never possibly have thought of, you would find in The Sims FreePlay, okay? So yes, I think they're beautiful anyway. It just makes for more fun when you're styling a Sim. And it just gives them individuality in some way. So these are what you can expect to find, and this is what it looks like from an upfront view in the game. Now, one thing I am hoping for in the game is that we can have a camera angle such as this, where we can see the Sims up front and interact with them that way and play with them that way. Can you imagine what it would look like having them walk around the house in this kind of camera view? I think that would be amazing. I don't know though that The Sims FreePlay would change their game. But anything is possible, right? So as said before, this dressing room is a very busy space where the most beautiful gowns are tried on and decisions are made about adjustments, whether you want a different shade, maybe the strap of the gown needs to be elevated a bit more, perhaps the gown neckline is a bit too low in the front, and so on. But these private rooms in the corner here, to the left and right of that section, is where you come in, you change your clothes over, and you're practically half naked, so it's a little bit more private in those corners. And then you have the center part where you then showcase yourself and look in a ton of mirrors, and then, you know, your friends or whoever accompanied you would then make decisions with you as to whether it's the best choice. These rooms are meant to be really glamorous, and that's why we have the chandeliers in them, and this is basically the general overview of this wedding boutique. And then I have the spiral staircase that goes to the top. I felt that the staircase was the best option in this space because it's quite glamorous, you know, and boutiques tend to have very glamorous features in them. Some boutiques I go into have the most amazing massive chandeliers with 1,000 stones on them, and it's huge. So I thought that this staircase would fit that idea. The staircase takes us up to the rooftop that also leads to the restrooms for this boutique, and it's a very luxurious restroom. It's really nicely decked out, and we've got a chandelier in the space. The restroom lounge also benefits from a center table that's filled with flowers, maybe potpourri. So the entire space has a beautiful scent in it, And it's befitting, right, to have a really glamorous restroom for the boutique. Now there's an inner section here where you have the wash sinks, you've got more flowers in the area, and then we have 4 individual cubicles for private use. I have 2 over on the end here and another 2 on the other part of the wash sink room area. Now it's important to note that this game has been running for about 5 or 6 years maybe, but it was in the 2nd year of the game, I think, that I was able to get a hold of these WC units, and they're really nice and unique because they've got the toilet tissue holder, and it's a nice feature, but I don't think that these units are in the game any longer. You would have to keep an eye out for the Architect Home tabs to see which players have put these items into those homes. You download them and then you've got them. Now obviously you can see that the flip side of those restrooms is where we have the signage, and there is access for the Sims to come around and perhaps engage in maintenance, right? We've got hanging lights down beside the signage, and so if we lose a light, of course a Sim has got to come around and fix it. So there's access to the front part of these restrooms, which is actually the front part of the building. And of course they can take care of the signage as well, like tend those plants up there and so on. So this is basically the complete tour for this wedding boutique, and I'm wishing you the best of luck with completing. There is a plot that you unlock, and there's a video that I've put out called Wedding Day. So if you watch that video and if you look up in the corner of your screen on the right hand side, an iCard would have popped up for you to have a look at. You click on that and you'll be able to watch the wedding day that I put together on the plot that you are meant to unlock, with all these amazing prizes that are yet to be won by yourselves. If it's your first time of attempting the event, then I do suggest that you buckle down and, you know, work as hard as you can. But for those of you who already attempted it previously and are halfway in, then of course you have more than enough time to get through to the very end. So it's great that Sims FreePlay bring these events back. So there is a chance of completing eventually. This is the view at nighttime. Can you imagine this in the street when you walk past? I think it's beautiful. The lighting, the colors, I think it's lovely. Oh, I really love this build. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.